Okay, can you just introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, I'm Judy Irving, and I made the movie The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill.
I'm Mark Bittner. I'm the subject of the film, in part, and I wrote a book called The Wild Parrots of Telegraph Hill. And this is Senior.
Now, one of the things we wanted to ask you is, what parallels do you think exist between the parrots you take care of or took care of in San Francisco and the wild parrot flock here in Brooklyn?
Well, the only ones I can think of offhand are the obvious ones. They're non-native species that are surprising people and making a go of it in a foreign environment. The one big difference is that the birds here build nests. So I think that's one explanation for their ability to take the cold. But then parrots can generally take cold. Well, that's not widely known.
Now, there's some people, and you alluded to in your movie, that say, and you said it's a minority, however, that they don't belong here. They're not a native species. They should be eradicated and be done with. I mean, obviously you don't agree with that. What's your argument to those folks then? I mean, what if they are pests? What if they are, jilting our ecosystem somehow?
I think for human beings to be talking about animals being pests is kind of disingenuous. You know, there may be problems in a certain sense caused by non-native species, but the problems that human beings are causing dwarf anything that the non-native species might be causing. And in the case of parrots, they're in an artificial environment. None of the wild parrot flocks have left any urban or suburban area that they're in because they don't migrate. You know, they have to have a year-round food supply because they don't migrate, and that only exists in developed areas.
The wild parrot flocks in the U.S. are not causing any problem, really. They are adapting to the city environment just like the rest of us who live in cities are doing. And
Go ahead. Go.
It's a joy to have them here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm basically really glad that the parrots have made it. They're tough, scrappy little birds, and they're very, very intelligent, and they bring huge amounts of joy to people. They are also a way, just like with Mark, a way in to the rest of the natural world and a way in to native species of birds that may not be quite as colorful as parrots. Because they're loud and they're colorful and they're funny, they attract attention. And then once you get into the parrots, then maybe you start looking around a little bit more and you see the house sparrows and the finches, and you see the bluebirds, and you start to see the migrating birds, you see the hawks. There's a tremendous amount of life, natural life in the city that the parrots awaken people to.
Now, what if you have a case where you had in Brooklyn initially where the parrots, as you say, the Quaker parrots are I believe the only parrots that build nests, and they seem to build such large, intricate nests on power lines that they have caused problems and fires. I know you've also, in your film, showed that you had to lobby for the parrots to the local authorities as well. How do you feel? Can you feel that the city's needs and parrots' needs can be reconciled at the same time?
Definitely.
Sure. I mean, if we want to. I mean, in a lot of cases, when there's a problem that can't be worked out, it's because the human beings think it's too much of a bother to work it out. But, we created the problem. The parrots didn't bring themselves here. We brought them here. And it's kind of incumbent upon us to do the best we can. It's not just parrots. I mean, it's a lot of things. It's amazing. Like, we're just taking away habitat from all these different species and sort of like pushing them back further and further, and it's so greedy. It's so selfish. There's nothing noble about what we've been doing. And I think we have an obligation to stop being the way we've been being.
Yeah, one of the ways that people dream up to take care of this so-called problem is to kill the birds. That's the easiest solution, just kill them. But many communities have built structures with nesting platforms on top of them, right near the power poles, and they've very carefully, gently taken the nest down after the breeding season and after the birds have fledged so that there are no birds in the nest. And then they put up, like wire cages or whatever around the electrical poles so that the birds don't nest there again, but then they have a replacement structure to nest on. Easy. It has worked in other communities, and it can work here. We just have to do a little bit more creative thinking about this. We don't have to kill them.